Welcome to the GRC Sentinel. Today we're diving into combined assurance, a leading practice that transforms how banks manage risk and assurance. Our North Star? Global Internal Audit Standard 9.5 Coordination and Reliance. In plain language, it says assurance providers should collaborate, coordinate, and rely on each other's work where appropriate to avoid duplication and strengthen governance. Before you think another compliance buzzword, stick with me. Combined assurance is what happens when your assurance ecosystem stops being a noisy room of soloists and becomes a symphony. Risk, compliance, internal audit, legal, QA, health and safety. Each section plays their part on tempo with a shared score. The result? Clear risk visibility, fewer blind spots, and less waste, which in banking translates to smarter decisions and calmer regulators. Why combined assurance matters for banks? Let's start with the pain points. Traditional assurance in banks often evolves into parallel universes. 1. Siloed teams, risk, compliance, audit, legal, ops risk, IT risk. Each plans and executes independently. 2. Duplication. Different teams test similar controls for different frameworks, SOX, AML, Basel, data privacy, but don't compare notes. 3. Gaps. Silo coordination misses interfaces, e.g. vendor risk meets cyber risk. Risks slip through the seams. 4. Conflicting signals. Executives receive multiple reports with different ratings and heat maps. Decision-making slows or stalls. 5. High assurance cost. Redundant testing, fragmented tooling, and duplicated remediation add up fast. Combined assurance addresses these head-on by bringing assurance under one coordination umbrella, governed, mapped, and measured. Siloed assurance is like 5 mechanics working on your car without talking. One checks brakes, another tires, another oil, but nobody notices the engine is overheating. Combined assurance puts one service manager in charge of the whole car, with each mechanic working from the same checklist. Direct benefits for banks. 1. Better risk visibility, shared risk taxonomy, unified dashboards, aligned ratings. 2. Cost efficiency, fewer duplicate tests, consolidated tooling, streamlined remediation. 3. Governance strength, a single coordinated assurance view for the board and regulators. 4. Faster decisions, executives get one coherent picture, not 5 competing ones. 5. Stronger stakeholder confidence. Regulators see robust coordination, the board trusts the signals. Foundations linking combined assurance to COSO. Combined assurance isn't just operational neatness, it sits on top of core control fundamentals. COSO's Internal Control Framework is a useful lens. 1. Control environment. Tone at the top, clarity of roles, integrity, accountability. Combined assurance needs explicit governance, roles, and authority. 2. Risk assessment. Specify objectives, identify and analyze risks, including fraud, and consider change. Combined assurance requires a shared risk taxonomy and aligned prioritization. 3. Control activities, policies, procedures, approvals, reconciliations, and access controls. Combined assurance coordinates who tests what, where reliance is appropriate, and avoids overlap. 4. Information and communication. Timely, accurate, accessible information to those who need it. Combined assurance thrives on shared planning calendars, common reporting, and transparent results. 5. Monitoring activities. Ongoing evaluations, separate evaluations, and remediation. Combined assurance builds feedback loops to improve the program's coverage and efficiency over time. Think of COSO as the house blueprint. Combined assurance is how all the contractors, plumbing, electrical, framing, coordinate so the house stands straight, the lights turn on, and the water flows where it should. Standard 9.5 Coordination and Reliance explained. Global Internal Audit Standard 9.5 makes the expectations plain. Internal auditors should coordinate with other assurance providers and rely on their work when appropriate. What does appropriate mean? It means reliance based on criteria such as independence, objectivity, competence, methodology quality, and evidence sufficiency. In practice, Standard 9.5 nudges auditors to 1. Jointly plan assurance activities, align calendars, avoid duplicate walkthroughs, and sequence work to share artifacts. 2. Share methodologies and results, not to dilute rigor, but to align ratings and reduce noise. 3. Focus on high-risk areas. Free up capacity by relying where justified, so the audit can probe deeper where it matters most. Combined assurance is how Standard 9.5 becomes an operational reality. It creates the governance, artifacts, and routines that make coordination and reliance reliable instead of ad hoc. The Combined Assurance Lifecycle Overview. Here's the lifecycle you'll build and then continually refine. 1. Vision and business case. Define why combined assurance matters for your bank now. Regulatory pressure, cost, risk events. 2. Governance and charter. Codify roles, decision rights, reliance criteria, and escalation paths. 3. Assurance map. Inventory providers, coverage, methods, and control overlap. Identify gaps and redundancies. 4. Joint planning, align schedules, share risk priorities, sequence assurance for efficiency. 5. Execution and reliance. Apply reliance criteria, share artifacts, coordinate testing to minimize disruption. 6. Integrated reporting, build a unified view, dashboards, heat maps, control ratings for executives and board. 7. Monitoring and improvement. Review program metrics, adjust coverage, tune reliance, and upgrade tooling. We'll walk through each step with practical detail. Step 1. Build the formal business case. To get combined assurance off the ground, you need a compelling business case. Treat it like any strategic initiative. 1. Problem statement. Duplication, gaps, inconsistent ratings, high assurance costs, slow decisions. 2. Evidence. Examples of repeated control testing, audit fatigue from business units, conflicting risk assessments, tool sprawl. 3. Outcomes. Coverage, fewer gaps, clearer line of sight to top risks. Efficiency. Reduced redundant tests, shorter cycle times. Quality. Aligned ratings, better challenge and assurance. Transparency. One assurance view for leadership and regulators. 4. Scope and phasing. Start with 2 to 3 domains, e.g. AML, third-party risk, ITGCs, then expand. 5. Governance. Propose internal audit as initial convener, not owner of everything, with a cross-functional steering group. 6. Metrics. Commit to measurable reductions in duplication and improvements in cycle time and coverage. Do not sell it as a new program. Sell it as how we stop paying twice and missing the same risk twice. Step 2. Secure audit committee and senior management support. Combined assurance needs top cover. Here's how to get it. 1. Brief the audit committee. Present the business case, governance model, and metrics. Emphasize Standard 9.5 alignment. 2. Engage the executive team, CFO, CRO, COO, General Counsel, CIO, CISO. Explain benefits in their language. Cost reduction, cycle time gains, regulatory confidence. 3. Address turf concerns head-on. This is coordination, not annexation. Each function retains its mandate. We simply stop tripping over each other. 3. Define decision rights. Who approves the charter, reliance criteria, tooling changes, and reporting formats? Here's a tip for you. Bring one concrete example of duplication and one example of a gap that created a near miss. Nothing convinces like specifics. Step 3. Inventory assurance providers and build the assurance map. Now map reality before you design your future state. 1. List providers: internal audit, enterprise risk, compliance, legal, QA, health and safety, InfoSec, model risk, credit risk, ops risk, finance control, SOX PMO, privacy. 2. Catalog methods, risk assessments, control testing, thematic reviews, continuous monitoring, certifications. 3. Map coverage, which controls and processes each test, standards they use, Basel, AML, SOX, GDPR. 4. Identify overlaps. Same control tested by multiple providers, differing methods, conflicting ratings. 4. Spot gaps. Interfaces between domains, e.g. third-party cyber risk, end-to-end process coverage, and new risk areas, e.g. AI ethics, cloud deployments. Deliverable. An assurance map. A visual matrix of risk domains, controls, and providers, with annotations for overlap and gaps. This becomes your North Star for redesign. Foundations linking combined assurance to COSO. Combined assurance isn't just operational neatness, it sits on top of core control fundamentals. COSO's Internal Control Framework is a useful lens. 1. Control environment. Tone at the top, clarity of roles, integrity, accountability. Combined assurance needs explicit governance, roles, and authority. 2. Risk assessment. Specify objectives, identify and analyze risks, including fraud, and consider change. Combined assurance requires a shared risk taxonomy and aligned prioritization. 3. Control activities, policies, procedures, approvals, reconciliations, and access controls. Combined assurance coordinates who tests what, where reliance is appropriate, and avoids overlap. 4. Information and communication. Timely, accurate, accessible information to those who need it. Combined assurance thrives on shared planning calendars, common reporting, and transparent results. 5. Monitoring activities. Ongoing evaluations, separate evaluations, and remediation. Combined assurance builds feedback loops to improve the program's coverage and efficiency over time. Think of COSO as the house blueprint. Combined assurance is how all the contractors, plumbing, electrical, framing, coordinate so the house stands straight, the lights turn on, and the water flows where it should. Standard 9.5 Coordination and Reliance explained. Global Internal Audit Standard 9.5 makes the expectations plain. Internal auditors should coordinate with other assurance providers and rely on their work when appropriate. What does appropriate mean? It means reliance based on criteria such as independence, objectivity, competence, methodology quality, and evidence sufficiency. In practice, Standard 9.5 nudges auditors to 1. Jointly plan assurance activities, align calendars, avoid duplicate walkthroughs, and sequence work to share artifacts. 2. Share methodologies and results, not to dilute rigor, but to align ratings and reduce noise. 3. Focus on high-risk areas. Free up capacity by relying where justified, so the audit can probe deeper where it matters most. Combined assurance is how Standard 9.5 becomes an operational reality. It creates the governance, artifacts, and routines that make coordination and reliance reliable instead of ad hoc. Step 7. Execute, coordinate, and rely without losing rigor. Execution is all about disciplined collaboration. 1. Share scoping memos and test plans, early and consistently. 2. Use a common evidence repository, permissioned, searchable with version control. 3. Document reliance. For each control, note the reliance source, extent, percentage, and any reperformance performed by internal audit. 4. Hold weekly stand-ups, quick coordination updates, flagged issues, artifacts ready, stakeholder pain points. 5. Manage stakeholder fatigue. Combine walkthroughs when possible, limit repeated interviews, and time-box sessions. Reliance isn't a shortcut. It's reusing trustworthy work to go further, faster, where risk is highest. Step 8. Integrated reporting and one view to the truth. Your executives shouldn't have to reconcile 4 different risk dashboards. Build one. 1. Unified risk taxonomy. Align categories, subcategories, rating scales, and definitions. 2. Common rating system. Agree on what high, medium, low means across providers, criteria, thresholds. 3. Consolidated dashboards. Show risk heat maps, control ratings, open findings, aging, trends, and remediation status. 4. Traceability. Each roll-up rating links back to the underlying provider report for drill down. 5. Board Ready Pack. A clear summary with 1-2 pages per top risk domain, highlighting coverage, residual risk, and planned assurance. Think of integrated reporting as your bank's single pane of glass. Less noise, more signal. Step 9. Technology enablement. Do more with fewer clicks. Tech doesn't magically fix culture, but it makes good coordination easier. 1. GRC platform alignment. Consolidate tooling or integrate feeds. Risk, compliance, audit results. 2. Evidence repository. Central, permissioned with tagging, domain control ID, provider, date. 3. Workflow automation. Shared request queues for artifacts. Status tracking for testing and remediation. 4. Analytics. exception trend analysis, duplicate testing detection, coverage heat maps, and regression on risk movement versus assurance intensity. 5. Data quality checks. Ensure ratings and metadata are consistent across providers. Here's a tip for you. Start with light integrations and a shared data dictionary. Perfection can be the enemy of progress. Step 10. Joint training and culture building. Combined assurance is about humans as much as frameworks. 1. Cross-training. Have compliance teach their AML testing approach to audit. Audit shares sampling rigor with QA. Risk explains their scenario analysis methods. 2. Common definitions create a glossary, risk types, rating terms, control classifications. 3. Case studies. Review a past duplication incident and a past gap. Derive lessons. 4. Psychological safety. Encourage transparent "we missed" moments without blame. Focus on fixes. 5. Recognition. Celebrate teams that reduce duplication or closed gaps via coordination. Group projects are only terrible when nobody talks. In assurance, talking saves time and your sanity. Step 11. Monitoring the program and continuous improvement. Treat combined assurance like a product. Ship, measure, iterate. 1. Program KPIs. Duplication reduction, % fewer duplicate tests for the same control. Coverage improvement, % of top risks with coordinated multi-provider coverage. Cycle time reduction, days from test start to report issuance. Finding aging, average days to close, % past due. Stakeholder fatigue, number of repeated interviews with the same team without artifact reuse. Target, down. 2. Quality checks, Reliance audits. Spot check files you relied on to validate methodology and evidence. 3. Quarterly retrospectives. What worked? Where did Reliance fall short? What's the next improvement? 4. Annual refresh. Update charter, Reliance criteria, tech integrations, and training topics. If you aren't measuring, you aren't improving. Practical steps and templates for banks. Let's make this tangible with ready-to-use structures you can adapt. 1. Assurance map template. Columns, risk domains, AML, credit, cyber, third-party, SOX, privacy. Rows, assurance providers. Cells, method, frequency, ratings used, overlap notes, gaps flagged. 2. Reliance criteria one-pager. Independence, objectivity, competence, pass-fail. Methodology quality, score 1-5, procedures, sampling, evidence. Evidence sufficiency, score 1-5, traceability, completeness. Scope alignment, score 1-5, risk coverage match. Reliance decision, rely partial, no rely, re-performance required. 3. Charter skeleton. Purpose and scope, why we coordinate. Roles and responsibilities, who does what. Reliance rules, criteria, exceptions, documentation. Cadence, planning and reviews. Reporting, formats, dashboards, traceability. Escalation, conflicts, gaps, delays. Deep dive, aligning with COSO components in practice. Here's how each COSO component shows up in combined assurance, with concrete examples. 1. Control environment. Example, the CEO sets a directive that all assurance providers will use a shared rating scale by Q3. The audit committee requires a single consolidated assurance report each quarter. Impact, cultural permission and accountability for coordination. 2. Risk assessment. Example, enterprise risk and compliance align on top risks, e.g., AML, KYC quality, third-party concentration, cyber identity governance. Internal audit calibrates its plan to these priorities, relying on compliance's KYC testing and focusing its own deep dives on adjacent high-risk areas. Impact, assurance follows the same risk compass. 3. Control activities. Example, compliance tests. KYC control design and operating effectiveness. Internal audit relies where criteria are met and performs limited re-performance on boundary cases. Impact, less duplication, more depth where needed. 4. Information and communication. Example, shared assurance calendar, common evidence repository, consolidated dashboards. Impact, fewer stakeholder requests and clearer executive insights. 5. Monitoring activities. Example, quarterly review of Reliance quality, duplicate test counts, and coverage gaps. Adjustments made to the plan and criteria. Impact, the program adapts as risks and methods evolve. Case studies from chaos to coherence. 2 quick case narratives to bring it to life. Case 1, duplicate control testing, ITGC user access. Before, SOX, PMO, and internal audit both tested user access provisioning. InfoSec ran separate certification checks. Business units faced 3 different evidence requests and rating labels. After, combined assurance aligned sampling and artifacts. SOX PMO's test became the primary file. InfoSec's certification fed detective monitoring. Internal audit relied on both and focused on high-risk exceptions. Result, 35% fewer stakeholder hours, unified ratings, quicker remediation. Case 2, gap in third-party cyber risk. Before, vendor management looked at SLA performance. InfoSec looked at penetration tests. Nobody mapped concentration risk for cloud providers. After, Assurance Map flagged the gap. Internal audit ran a thematic deep dive. Risk added concentration monitoring. Compliance added contractual control testing. Result, board visibility on a hidden top risk, improved resilience posture, regulator confidence, common pitfalls and how to avoid them. Combined assurance can go sideways if you don't watch for these traps. Pitfall 1, turf wars over ownership. Fix, clarify that coordination preserves mandates. The charter defines decision rights. Pitfall 2, over-reliance without quality checks. Fix, enforce reliance criteria and re-performance on samples. Do reliance audits. Pitfall 3, tool obsession without taxonomy alignment. Fix, align definitions and ratings before chasing platform perfection. Pitfall 4, cosmetic integration, joint logos, separate behaviors. Fix, measure duplication reduction and coverage improvements, real outcomes only. Pitfall 5, one-and-done rollout. Fix, build cadence, monthly working sessions, quarterly retrospectives, annual refresh. A shared dashboard doesn't equal shared work. Don't confuse same screen with same plan. Advanced topics, ratings, materiality, and regulatory alignment. For banks, a few advanced considerations sharpen combined assurance. 1. Ratings harmonization. Define severity thresholds. Tie high to quant-qual impact and likelihood bands. Explain deltas. If providers disagree, require a reconciliation note. 2. Materiality and sampling. Align sampling strategy. Base sample sizes on transaction volume, risk tier, and control failure history. Use stratified sampling. Prioritize high-value or high-risk strata for shared controls. 3. Regulatory alignment. Map frameworks, Basel, AML, sanctions, privacy, CUX, show where tests satisfy multiple requirements. Build a compliance crosswalk. One test, many uses. Document the mapping to regulations to support reliance with external reviewers. 4. Thematic reviews. Focus areas, Cloud IAM, AI model risk, sanction screening efficacy, payments fraud velocity controls, and consumer data privacy. Coordination. Rely on control-level testing for BAU. Internal audit uses freed capacity to probe thematic risk end-to-end. People and change management, making it stick. Programs fail when people don't change how they work. Here's the human side. 1. Stakeholder engagement. Invite business leaders to help prioritize pain points, duplication, fatigue. 2. Behavioral nudges. Publish monthly duplication avoided stats. Celebrate teams that shared artifacts. 3. Training the why. Micro-learning on Standard 9.5 COSO and how Reliance works. Keep it practical. 4. Incentives. Include coordination KPIs in assurance leaders' goals. Align budgets to shared outcomes. 5. Transparency. Share a roadmap, show early wins, and keep a pulse survey on stakeholder experience. Measurement. What good looks like. Define success so you can prove it. 1. Coverage KPIs. Percent of top risks with multi-provider coordinated assurance. Number of gaps identified and closed. 2. Efficiency KPIs. Reduction in duplicate tests. Cycle time from test start to report issuance. Number of repeated evidence requests. 3. Quality KPIs. Alignment rate of ratings across providers. Reliance audit pass rate. Finding aging and on-time remediation. Experience KPIs. Stakeholder fatigue index, repeat interview count, satisfaction surveys. Program health score, composite index combining coverage, efficiency, quality, and experience. Set quarterly targets, track trends, and present results to the audit committee. Combined assurance isn't about more paperwork, it's about smarter assurance, seeing risk clearly, using our collective effort wisely, and giving leaders one coherent view. Standard 9.5 sets the expectation. COSO gives us the structure. Combined assurance is how we turn expectations into operations, and operations into confidence. If this deep dive gave you new ideas, give the video a thumbs up, subscribe for more GRC insights every Sunday and Wednesday, and share this with your audit, risk, and compliance colleagues. Drop your biggest combined assurance challenge in the comments. I'll read them and we may feature your scenario in a future episode. Together, let's turn a chorus of assurance into a symphony. Thanks for watching the GRC Sentinel.